Myself Pranay, Range Forest Officer from GFDC. It's my absolute pleasure to extend a hearty welcome to each one of you present here for today's this second session of the technical session. The topic of the session is Ancient Spirit, New Stories, the Changing Face of Feni Culture. Topic aims to bring to the light of various aspects associated with this topic, thereby speaking thoughtful discussion and stimulating new ideas. We are fortunate to have with us today some distinguished speakers who are noted in Feni distillation. Each one of them brings invaluable expertise and insight that will indeed make our exploration of this topic a fruitful and enriching experience. I would like to introduce the panelists for this session. We have with us a moderator of this session, Sri S. Savadekar. S. Savadekar is 28 years of age, is the co-founder of Goichi Feni, a former flight attendant turned a new indigenous distiller. He takes great pride in Feni and its root. Apart from wine and spirit training, he had the privilege of traveling to more than 70 countries while he worked for a major international airline in the Middle East. Using this diverse experience, he is now on a mission to put Feni on the global spirit map. We welcome you, sir. I request Dipti to formally welcome yes, Savadekar, sir. Next, we have with us Aisha Sangi. She is 29 years of age, who has background in design and social media, has been involved in the Feni project from inception, including conceptualization, bottle design, launch and marketing. Normally a whiskey drinker, she has found a new drink of choice in the Feni projects, aged Feni, drinking it on the rocks and to get most of its unique smoky flavor. She hopes to be a part of the global growth of Feni in all its forms and varieties. We welcome you, madam. I request Jovita to formally welcome. Yes. Another speaker on the panel is Sri Raj Divkar, who is 24 years of age and co-founder of Goat Feni Cocktails. At the age of just 23, this young engineer from Goa took a bold step for entrepreneurship, pioneering his own brand and crafting blends that have redefined the Feni cocktail landscape. Working with the top Indian companies for over a year developing its products, Goat is now stubbornly set on its journey in becoming the greatest of all time, with the vision of elevating Feni to greatness and establishing it has a leading spirit in the cocktail industry. We welcome you, sir. I request Dipti to welcome, sir. Thank you. Our next panelist is Sri Carlyle Gomes, co-founder of Aniek. He is a graphic designer and branding specialist by profession. He blended the skills and his love for Feni to put forth a brand that is designed to showcase the beauty of the product, as well as the range of experiences that come along with it. Meet him at the events, restaurants and pop-ups, both behind the bar and in front of it. While he prefers a simple Feni drink with tonic and lime, he thoroughly enjoys working on the array of cocktails that celebrates the Aniek Infusions and our beloved spirit of Goa Feni. We welcome you, sir. I request Jovita to formally welcome, sir. Another speaker on the panel is Sri Anand Shirodkar, an entrepreneur, 31 years of age. Anand loves building community spaces and is forever grateful that he gets to do that in Goa. Encouraging a shared collective love for local produce and spirit has been his forte. He aims to bridge the gap between someone who doesn't know about Feni and getting them to taste it through his bar. We welcome you, sir. I request Dipti to formally welcome Sri Anand Cherulkar, sir. Now I request yes, Savadekar, sir, and to carry on with.
Thank you, Pranay sir, for giving the stage to me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sagyang upastitang mazo namaskar. My name is Yash Savadekar, and I'm the co-founder of Goichi Feni. Today, it's truly an honor to be here hosting this session after a very successful session last year, because Cashew Fest holds a very special place in my heart. Last year, on this very stage, we announced the launch of our Cashew Feni, which eventually led to us getting a lot of press because of all the people involved in the audience. And ultimately, it snowballed into us being invited to pitch in front of the Sharks on Shark Tank India, bringing the national spotlight onto Feni. This year, now that I've had the privilege to host this discussion, it only seemed fitting to sort of invite the next generation of stakeholders of the Feni industry, some of the sharpest minds we have with us today, to talk about the changing face of Feni culture. Feni has been around for centuries, but unfortunately, it has never gotten its dues. Until a few years ago, it was fully regarded as a poor man's country liquor. But we've seen a shift in mindset in both consumers and distillers alike for Feni. And that is the reason why we're here today to sort of discuss about the changing face of Feni culture through all the various expressions of Feni that these entrepreneurs produce to sort of put Feni on a global stage. So I'd like to sort of not waste any more time and get straight into asking them a few questions that I have prepared so that we can, educate our audiences more about what's been going on in the Feni industry lately. To start with Mr. Gomes. Hi, good afternoon, Carl.
Hello.
So Aniek is an infused Feni brand. So
Yes.
can you please shed more light on how infused Feni is produced? And has it been done historically, or is it something that is a new concept?
Okay. So I'll answer the second part first.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Uh, Infused Feni, in my opinion, there's no documented evidence of Feni infusions, but infusion as a concept is, I would say, as old as Feni itself, right? Feni would be in each and everyone's homes, sourced from the local distillers, lying in your house and consumed as and when at leisure. And while it was there, someone from the family would take some spices, knowing the medical values of it or the flavors of those spices, and just casually drop them in the bottles of Feni. Conceptually, that is infusion, and that is the way it works. So that is, like I said, as old as Feni itself. So infusion is not something new.
Mm-hmm.
What Aniek is bringing to the concept of infusions is basically some level of standard and a whole range of experiences. So the way we look at it is, the world is divided into literally two sections. There are people who drink Feni and there are people who don't drink Feni,
Mm-hmm.
according to us,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we wanted, at some point in time when we were doing tastings, my partner Clement, who's behind the infusions, was doing infusions for a really long time. But it was more between family and friends that he was sharing the product. But when my wife, Jill, and me were sitting and actually tasting the product, we realized that it had an opportunity to transcend the people who are on the other side of the world into this category. And that is where we saw value in the product. Um, there were a lot of flavors in those infusions which were allowing us to bring it to the other side, or allowing people to have a different experience. And that was the magic in terms of the infusion. Now, our process of infusion is very similar to what I explained earlier, in terms of how you would have a bottle of Feni at home and you would drop some spices. That's exactly what we do. We do not distill our Feni because there's really qualified and valuable distillers out there. We source the distilled Feni. Our process and our magic is the infusion. So at the time of conceptualization, we knew that we wanted to cater to a variety of palates out there. That's where the 3 different infusions that we started off with came into place. We have the lemon, the chili, and the honey cinnamon. Now they all have their exclusive and unique tasting profiles. It's our factory has tanks of Feni, the OG original Feni that we like to call it, and we dunk or immerse the infused ingredients in the Feni. It's a long process, so it's because it's absolutely natural. It's a process of about a month, 25 days to a
Wow.
month, and the reason for the variation is we have a benchmark or a reference bottle, and when we know that the infusion has reached us like closest to the benchmark bottle, that's when we stop the infusion. We drain out and filter any kind of particles or sediments that might be there, and the final product is then bottled, packaged, and distributed. So that is the infusion process that we have. Over the course of the month, there's some gentle agitation, obviously, to stir it up and bring some life into the Feni in the course of the process. So that's the process that we follow, and we've had really good responses in terms of, like I say, the shift or the conversion, right? Making like we like to consider ourselves Feni converts in the larger scheme of not just the spirit, but the actual crop, the actual industry, and overall in general. You get more people to try Feni. How many? Everyone knows about the nut, right? But how
Very
many
few
know
know
about the
about
drink,
the drink,
right?
yeah.
And there's other industries and food and stuff that also, like we know at the Cashew Fest, that's coming out of the cashew. So we've made many converts, and those people have either walked out with a bottle or been willing to try another infusion. Most people have a preference, and we appreciate that. But one question that we get whenever, especially when we're at an event like this, is what's the next infusion, right? And that is something that consistently gives us belief in the concept that we came out with right at the start. So that's the way I look at it in terms of infusions. So
Fantastic.
it's as traditional as Feni itself, but there's a lot of hope in the future for the product.
Absolutely. So not only does this open it up to new palettes, like you said, this, like, you're absolutely right about this being a very historical process as well. If you look at spirits in the West, for example, Benedictine monks have been forever infusing their alcohol with medicinal properties or botanicals to sort of preserve their shelf life. I mean, to increase their shelf life. So not only this infusion does two things, like you said. One, increase the shelf life of the spices and use it for its medicinal properties, which is what it was used for historically. And it also opens it up to sort of new palates where they'd like to experiment with the flavor profile. And if it's not a secret, I'd like to ask you to, what is the next infusion?
Well, it's not really a secret. We've been giving it out to friends and family who've been coming around, or even when you go to an event and we know that there's someone probably like you around, we definitely offer it up because I'm personally most excited about it. We have a bartender mixologist who, when they tried it, he was like, we have to get into market with this. But there is some refinement that's needed, and obviously a cost factor that we need to achieve at, considering the position that we are at. The next infusion is coffee.
Oh, very
Yeah.
excited to try
So
that out.
we're looking forward to a coffee Feni. It's quite exciting. Let's see.
Fantastic. I sort of have a supplementary question to my previous one as well.
Okay.
The understanding of liqueurs and infusions in India is fairly limited at the moment in terms of its understanding and its nitty-gritties. Of course, you've explained now very well, but the larger audience in India is sort of unaware of how infusions or liqueurs sort of work or how they're supposed to be used in cocktails and things like that. Do you believe infusions are the way forward for Feni? Or do you think the plain Feni, the original Feni, Cashew Feni that you've also very recently launched, will be a bigger hit with consumers in the future?
That question has so many answers
We'd
and
like to
elaborate
pick the best
answers,
one.
but yeah, I'll address them. So in terms of understanding of liqueurs and infusions, what happens is generally as an audience or as a market, most people are very straight about the spirit. It's more spirit, right? Like they drink their whiskeys, they drink their vodkas and the rums and whatever, or the wines, and they're just about that. Because you drink at home, when you go outside, you're sitting at a bar, you still drink your drink, your familiar drink. But what has happened, it's been popular for decades in the West. But what has happened in the last few years, I believe, um, in India, in places like Goa, is the introduction and growth of a cocktail culture. The cocktail culture is what brings concepts like infusions and liqueurs to the forefront. You're willing to experiment, you're willing to explore a little more, you're willing to go beyond the familiar, right? So, what's a Campari? Whoever hears of a Campari, right? Like, what is it? And then suddenly, I've been drinking Negronis, and oh, a Campari goes in it, right? It's a major ingredient. So the whole culture is sort of an educational journey, which is making these liqueurs and infusions known to the public and giving them a whole range of exploration that can happen, which is giving the bartenders, like Anant also will know in his bar, they do Jeera Feni. It's an amazing drink. They have their own audience for it. Everyone would like to. You just read it, chili feni. You read it on a menu and you're automatically intrigued, right? So that intrigue is something that's coming out through the whole cocktail culture, through the education that's going on, and I think that is a way forward. Like infusions is not new, like I explained earlier, and every bartender with whatever's happening right now in the drinking world, every bartender is doing his magic behind the bar. All of them are doing infusions with various spirits because that allows them to create a whole range of experience, probably based on their own personality, based on the bars or restaurants' personality. There's insane amounts of exploration that happens through these infusions. That's the way I look at it. So it is definitely the way forward. Now, can you just repeat the second part?
The second part of the question was, do you think infusions are the way forward, or do you think plain Cashew Feni, which you also very recently launched under the banner of RDX, would be more of a commercial success or known well to the consumers?
Okay. So, like I said, infusions being the way forward is something that I look at with still the ability to drive more experiences, right? A variety of experiences. Even when we are at the Cashew Fest, a lot of people come to us and be like, we buy your chili feni, we both love your chili feni, and that is the one. Or we buy your honey cinnamon. And like I said, each one picks their favorite. So they may or may not have been feni drinkers, but now they've picked one and they've decided to stick with it, and they continue to entertain other people and offer it to them. So there's a growth in that aspect, but there are and this was in the course of our brand journey as well. There are traditionalists, right? There are those who believe in the original spirit. They are very staunch with the way they drink Feni, and there's absolute respect to them because that is the way they enjoy the drink. That is the way they enjoy their culture. That is where their ancestors and forefathers and everyone has been.
That's how it's been passed down.
It's been passed down, right? So there's a whole new wave of people coming in, and they've been trying our product. The first Cashew Fest, there were a lot of Goans, wine store owners, etc., who would pass by. At that time, we were fairly new in the market. They'd be like, okay, let me try this product. Not to try the infusion actually, because they were in the traditionalist mindset.
Yeah.
They wanted their Feni. But they were actually judging the quality of the product, because they were sensitive to it. So they would drink the Feni, probably, compartmentalize the infusion in their minds and say, okay, this is a really good quality product. And we let that run for a certain amount of time till Aniek grew up and was conceptualized as an infused Feni brand. We were very staunch about the fact that we wanted to go in the infusion direction. But having been in the market for a couple of years, having received feedback from not just customers, but also retailers, also owners of bars and things like that. Everyone since almost a year has been asking us, when will you come out with your OG Feni, your base product? And that's the reason why we brought it out last year. It was
Fantastic.
purely to facilitate that exploration, and we'll keep it going, obviously. But infusions are definitely going to be forward. We enjoy. There's actually like 8 of them on our rack, but we're coming out with coffee because we know of we
Yeah.
believe in it. But there's a whole exploration that continues to go forward, and it's like the possibilities are endless. It's
Absolutely.
1 plus 1 equals infinity.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So that's why we say infusions are the way forward. It's going to grow, not just the spirit, but the industry, the experiences, everything that comes with it. And that's phenomenal for the cashew.
Absolutely.
So, you know.
No, it really is beautiful because Feni's. I'm enjoying seeing that the entire new generation looks at Feni as such a new and blank canvas, where we sort of have the freedom to paint with it the way we want. In a way that Pablo Picasso paints skin color with blue and purple with almost a childlike innocence. This is a fantastic approach to sort of opening Feni to new palettes. So congratulations on this as well.
And just like one other note on that concept, right? Whether it's the infusions, whether it's the traditional Feni, like Hansel, for example, when he started Kazulo, he did it to raise the bar of Feni, right? He just told me yesterday that yesterday, which he celebrates his World Feni Day, was 11 years since he launched Kazulo. Now, he did it to raise the bar of Feni, raise it from the conceptual poor man's drink, to the perception of country liquor, things like that. At that time, he had that vision. Today, whether it's Goenchi, whether it's Moji, whether it's the Feni project, all of these brands, whether it's Aniek, we are all looking at continuing that raising of the bar, right? Like taking it on an upward curve. And that is progression and future for the spirit in general. That's constantly there. You're giving, like, the price point has increased. Everyone will question it. But who's getting the benefit? It's at the end of the day, it has to go back. We're looking at the industry in general. We're looking at catering to a different audience, and that's just growth on all levels. It's probably testimony to something that Hansel visualized those many years ago, and hopefully it'll continue to take it to another level altogether, another height.
100% so, and I think that's the real beauty of it. We're all sort of working as comrades within the industry to sort of build the entire spirit up from ground, and it just makes me very happy to see projects like these. So perfect. Moving forward, I have a couple of questions for Aisha, who's also one of the founders of the Feni project. So it is a barrel-aged Feni, another very new expression,
Yes.
assuming traditionally Feni was aged in glass carafons. So do you believe the Feni market has evolved enough to appreciate and understand a barrel-aged Feni? And please shed some light on the journey that has been since inception, please.
Well, thank you for having me here first.
Absolute pleasure.
Hello, everyone. In case anyone doesn't yet know what barrel-aged Feni is, I want to just give you a little bit of background so you understand what it is and how we make it. What we do is we source the distilled Feni and we put it into a variety of oak barrels and just let it sit and age. Our first batch was aged for 1 year. Our second batch is aged for 2 years. And what this does is it's the exact same process as aging whiskey or cognac. It imparts that really beautiful smoky flavor and that golden color that comes from the wooden barrels into the liquor and into the spirit. So our thought process was, if it can be done for whiskey and cognac, why not something new? Coming back to the question, I think definitely the current Feni market is evolved enough to appreciate it. I think us sitting here is testament to that. Like you said, we're all participating in the growth and expansion of the Feni market right now. But more than that, I would say what we want to focus on is the non-Feni market. I myself have been a whiskey drinker for as long as I've been drinking alcohol. And I have always drunk whiskey on the rocks. And I was actually one of the, like you said, two groups of people. Either you drink Feni or you don't. And I was on the side that didn't for a long time. I am actually now at the point where our aged Feni is my drink of choice, to the point where I have a bottle of it in the car if I'm going out to a friend's house, in case they don't have it. Or in case a bar doesn't have it, we'll offer it as a gift to the bartender and then open it so I can drink it. So I have been fully converted, and I think we're looking at this in a way where obviously India is a huge whiskey market, and this is almost a stepping stone for someone who is a whiskey drinker to say, hey, you know what? This is somewhat in my comfort zone. It has the notes of whiskey, but we're expanding into the field of Feni and giving them that chance to kind of explore something new. And again, with me, after drinking aged Feni, I have been so much more comfortable to try Feni cocktails or infused Feni or just straight Feni on the rocks and try every version of it. So I think a lot of other people will also be much more inclined to opening up their horizons and trying something new, especially someone who is a whiskey drinker like I used to be. I also think when you go to a bar or a restaurant and you look at the menu, you're handed the menu, you see 10 whiskeys, you see 10 gins, you see 10 tequilas. But at the moment, you're seeing one Feni and there's no brand name. It just says Feni on the menu, nothing else. We want to get to a point where you see 10 Fenis on the menu and each one has the brand next to it. And you can ask by name. You can say, you know what, I want a large Goenchi. I want a large Centauri. I want a large Cazulo. And you can ask for your preference based on your budget, on your taste, and decide what you like, because there are that many options to choose from.
Absolutely. The ocean is very, very blue.
Exactly. And I also think, I mean, if we look at tequila as an example of something that's GI tagged to Mexico, you can buy a bottle of tequila that's $20. You can buy a bottle of tequila that's $500. And it might sound crazy right now, but maybe someday we'll be sitting here, hopefully a new group of faces will be sitting here talking about a 25-year aged bottle of Feni that costs 20,000 rupees, or a 10-year aged bottle. And I think it's really incredible to see the potential. And so far, we've had a very positive response. If anyone hasn't yet tried our Feni, please come to stall 47, because it is unlike anything you've tried before. It's very different. And I'd love for everyone to taste it.
Thank you so much, Aisha. That was absolutely wonderful. I have another question for you. So when you look at, like say cognac for an example, they always have an appellation board that sort of regulates how long a particular spirit has been aged, sort of certifies for quality that it said spirit has been aged for said amount of time. Is there a body at the moment that regulates the aging of Feni? And if not, is there a need for one, in your opinion?
So, as of right now, the Goa government has notified the Goa Feni Policy of 2021. This kind of outlines the rules of Feni production, of barrel aging, of GI tagging. The implementation is still in the works of this, but it will happen. And I think because of this, certification is inevitable in the future as well. But again, coming back to my previous point, I think as important as certification is to have a benchmark and a standard, it's just as important to focus on the customers and kind of build this market so that we see 10 different aged Fenis a few years from now. And you can compare a Feni, say, from Sattari or from Valpoi and say, you know what, I like it from this region, or I like mine aged 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. And again, so that we are coming back to the customer, making sure they have the variety to choose from. They can choose based on what they are interested in, what their budget and taste is. And I think as the industry grows, certification is definitely coming soon. Yeah.
No, that's very well answered. I believe the same thing, that Feni is a category ripe on its verge of, exploding and taking over the world. We've actually seen, say, Indian cuisine or Indian fashion sort of take the center stage, even in the West for many times. But that sort of representation hasn't been achieved for the Indian alcobev space. We've often always looked down upon our indigenous spirits, perhaps a sad post-colonial mindset that we're sort of working on. But with brands like this, I think we'll be curing the colonial hangover very, very soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm very excited to see what the future of Feni holds, and that's essentially why we had this panel discussion to begin with, so that we can inform as many people as possible about all the great things that we've been doing for a while now. So moving on to our next panelist, Mr. Anand Shirodkar.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Absolute pleasure, Anand. So my association with Anand has been almost a year long now, and I've seen him on the floor at his bar, sort of championing Feni to every patron that sort of walks in. Pablo's is the kind of new age tavern that really builds culture around Feni, and that is the reason why I wanted to sort of have him, grace the audience with respect to how. Things are changing at the bar end, at the bar front, in terms of Feni being used as perhaps in cocktails, or even, there are some misconceptions to Feni that, what some customers think that Feni smells, or things like that. There have been some negative connotations. So I wanted to know from Anant that, bars, especially like Pablo's, they serve as great spaces of community and culture building, right? So how have you combated these misconceptions associated with Feni, and how have you, spun your magic in getting the next generation to not only try this spirit, combating the misconceptions, but also to fall in love with it?
Okay, so I'm going to talk from just a consumer point of view, because I talk with them every day and I understand the misconceptions people have around Feni. I think the biggest bad reputation it has is when people come in contact with Feni, they always talk about its distinct smell. This is always spoken about in a bad light. But there are many other misconceptions with it, like, oh, it will give you a terrible hangover, or your sweat will smell of it the next day. Unnecessary misconceptions have been associated with Feni. That's also because I think there has never been consistent Feni available. There's always been different qualities of Feni, different alcohol content, The branding has never been great. But through Pablo's, what we are trying to do is trying to introduce people to Feni in a much easier way. Like as the earlier panelists said that, bars usually just have like one Feni drink on their menu. But since we've started, we've always had 6 to 8 different types of Feni on our menu. And that's the first thing you see. You open our menu and the first thing you see is Feni. Not like usually bars have this, there's a specific rule of how to make menus. Like, beers have to go first, this has to go second, all of this. The expensive things need to be at the eye level. But Feni has always been such an affordable product that we've managed to keep 6. Right now, I think it's gone to 8 because we've got Aniek come in, we have Goichi come in. But usually I used to have 3 of my own infusions and 2 raw Fenis as well. And that really gave me a chance to introduce Feni to people who had never had it. So people would come and they would just ask me, what is this Feni? Why is it so cheap? Why is it only like 50 rupees or why is it 40 rupees? And when I would give them a taster, they're like, no, it's not for me. So then I started with the infusions. I'm like, try this Jeera Feni or try this Ginger Feni. And with the conversations, I started telling them about the health benefits to it. Obviously, in limited quantities, not drink the whole bottle. But, so people started trying it and they're like, yeah, okay, this works for me. Then slowly started putting in things to make it more and more palatable. I agree that it does gentrify the drink, make it less earthy, but it makes it more palatable to first timers. After they come for the first time, when I see like most of the customers who come to the bar become regulars very, very soon. So once they come the next time, I don't have to go through this entire process of making them, familiarizing them with the Feni. So then I can ask them to try something new and try Feni in its raw form. Okay, if this doesn't work for you, let us give you a cocktail which suits your palate. And that's what we have also done with our cocktail program, is usually the cocktails are fixed, right? This cocktail is made with a certain spirit, this. So we make cocktails with only fresh tropical fruits and local grown produce. And you can choose the base, what you want in a cocktail. There's no hard and fast rule that, oh, this cocktail is only with this, no. So what happens is this gives us the opportunity to recommend Feni as a base in those cocktails, and people also can try. Instead of just going for regular white spirit like a gin, vodka, or a white rum which doesn't have much characteristics on its own like what Feni has, this really helps people to like try something with the flavors they enjoy. So this has really helped us like push Feni, and that and you won't believe it, our Feni sales are actually more than our whiskey sales, in spite of whiskey being such a dominant thing in India. Brown spirits, everyone told us like brown spirits all the time, you know. But we have seen it. And we also have great connects with local distillers, so we get our Feni straight from them, you know. It's like, and it's very good, you know, you don't have to ask for crates of 12 bottles, you can just get a can of 35 liters, you know, which really helps.
This was brilliant, Anand. Thank you so much for shedding light on how things have been changing at the bar. But like coming back to sort of the smell, I mean, I don't want to refer to it as the smell. I prefer to call it a perfume or an aroma or a bouquet. But like you said, many people have that misconception about Feni, that it sort of smells pungent or etc. But they don't seem to have the same misconception about Orak. So coming to my next question, you know, Orak has become all the craze amongst patrons in Goa. But unfortunately, due to its smaller shelf life and lower value additiveness, it's not a very commercially viable business. So we need to sort of shift the attention back onto Feni, which is sort of available, the same thing available year round. So clearly, I mean, the smell of the Cashew Feni is not really a problem, because if people love Orak, which is so true to the fruit, they should, in theory, love Cashew Feni as well. So what do you think has held Feni back all these years, and how have things changed now in the sort of pungency? You know, like how caviar and things like that are very acquired tastes. Have people sort of started taken to Feni to a point where they're connoisseurs now and they understand that the pungency is part of the charm?
So let me talk about first, obviously Orak is more palatable than Feni for a lot of people because it is very floral. You know, like, you know, it smells slightly different. Like that's what I'm saying, the aroma is not bad, it's got a distinct aroma, which is an acquired taste. For like the first couple of times, after that you get over the things, and then you start noticing the subtleties in the spirit itself. Like, I think the major reasons why Feni has always been held back is because of its bad reputation, and because of the bad reputation, people, bar owners and restaurant owners, have fallen prey to this, that it will like, you know, the bar area will have this aroma of all of this. And that's why I've noticed so many bars I go to, some don't even have Feni listed on their menu. You know, we are in Goa, and it's not there to be seen. It's strange, because bars are the only vessel to popularize a drink. You know, in the last 3-4 years, a gin revolution in Goa. Hundreds of brands have opened up, and every bar was ready to keep 10 or 12 on their menu, but they wouldn't keep one Feni. So this mental block needs to change. You know, this thing about a poor man's spirit. You know, it's a country liquor, we don't know, it's made in questionable means. All of these misconceptions need to be like rooted out by bar owners. They need to take this responsibility. There's no point saying that no, we are this caliber bar, we only sell certain premium spirits. But Feni is a premium spirit, and it's time to get its due. You know, it really needs to get its due. So one of the reasons Feni has been held back is, one, definitely taking ownership of the spirit from like business owners like myself and other people. Second is, have you noticed the branding of Feni earlier, like the last 20-30 years, has been very like gimmicky, if you see.
Yes.
Because most of the time it was only thought of as a souvenir to take back from Goa.
Correct. And never a serious spirit.
Never a serious thing. Oh, I'll have this bottle because it looks nice. It is shaped like a guitar or whatever. Like there are multiple variants of it. It will look nice on the shelf. Or it'll be a nice gift to give somebody when I leave Goa. The talk has never been about the spirit. If you notice, and if you wanted to get a good spirit, it came in like a plastic bottle with a weird cap, and the cap would deteriorate over time. in 5 years, right? If the Feni spirit won't, nothing will happen to the spirit, but it has an expiry date because the cap has now completely lost its paint at
And
this
the
point.
angels have had all the Feni. You know?
Yeah,
It's lost the angel
exactly.
share, yeah.
The labels have been washed out. You
Mhm.
know, the branding aspect of it, I'm glad is changing.
Mhm.
Has also like never made it into a premium spirit.
Mhm.
Like, you know, you see a nice bottle, you want to own it, you want to keep it on your shelf, you want to give it out to people. But that was one more thing. And the third thing I think which kept Feni behind is distillers chose to give unbranded Feni directly to smaller taverns and bars
Mhm.
because the top restaurants were not
Willing to support.
willing to.
Mhm.
So that kept Feni only to local consumers.
Correct.
See, a spirit has to transcend and has to go international, and that only happens when consumers from all walks of life experience it.
Absolutely.
I have a small story. Like, I used to manage a bar in Germany as well,
Mhm.
and going there, I took Adinco Distillery's Tinto Feni because it's a nice looking bottle,
Mhm. Nice
and
ceramic one.
it's got a good spirit in it. So I
Mhm.
was like, okay, I'll take this, and I went there, and the misconception there people had, they thought it was made out of the nut, the
Yeah.
spirit. You know, see, this also, a lot of Indians also, they don't know about the fruit. They think, oh, Feni is made, they ask me, is it made out of the nut? I'm like, no, it's made out of cashew. So I started portraying Feni as cashew schnapps.
Yeah.
You know, this is a cashew schnapps. And I realized people there loved it.
Mhm.
No one had this about the smell, this,
Mhm.
nothing. People started loving me. They're like, when you go back, can you get some more? I'm like, yeah, I'll see how many I can get. You know, I'm allowed a certain level. And my friend still drinks water out of that bottle, no? Because he's like, you know, he loves the thing so
Really
much, you
enjoyed
know,
it.
and he's like, he wanted to have conversations about how we can import the product to Germany and all of this. So these 3 points, I think, have held Feni back, but thankfully now new age brands, like I'm going to obviously say Aniek, Goichi, even older brands are now working on their
Yeah.
branding.
Mhm.
And just not their branding, they are finally giving you a consistent, palatable and a quality product. That what was missing, you know, the consistency. Now I've been working with Goichi, I've been working with Aniek. I've seen that the consistency and the quality has always been there. You know, I've never found a batch, okay, this batch doesn't work. No, because finally there are people who are enthusiastic about Feni, who want to take Feni to the next level, are working together. And I think that's a brilliant change for the Feni industry. And obviously the branding, yeah, it's beautiful that, you know, finally the bottles look premium, you know,
Mhm.
and also not afraid to price it at what it should get. You know,
Absolutely.
Feni is not always, oh, I like people always like, I get a bottle 1 liter for 100 rupees. Yeah, you can get it. But why to just have it at 100 rupees? Why not every stakeholder get some part of it?
Absolutely.
That 100 rupees, how much will the producer get? Hardly anything. You premiumize this product, make it like tequila or make it like Campari and all of this. And also one suggestion, if there are any bar owners or if you all know any bar owners, to introduce a cocktail, you know, like how the previous panelist spoke about Campari, you know, it goes into a Negroni. It became so popular,
Mhm.
right? We need a drink
Yes.
which can go international.
Yes.
You know,
Tequila has
and
had.
anybody can make it, not just bartenders.
Yeah.
Somebody is sitting, figure it out, okay, this is what we can make.
Mhm.
If that happens, I think it'll be great for the future of Feni.
Absolutely. Tequila has their margarita as well. That was really the stepstone in, marketing tequila, which is again Mexico's indigenous spirit to the masses. So I think that was very, very well encapsulated. Thank you so much for all the great insights, Anand.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have our final panelists for today. Raj, thank you so much for being here. And I have a couple of questions for you as well. So Raj is the founder of Goat Beverages, which is a ready-to-drink Feni brand, which is again another expression. So like we've been in India familiar with breezers for a very long time, but we've, like how we call photocopying Xerox, it's sort of become a thing where everybody calls it breezers. But it's about time we experimented with Feni to sort of fit into the ready-to-drink beverages. So I'd just like to know from you, Raj, what is the inspiration behind the name of your brand? And also tell us a little more about all the wonderful things you guys do at Goat Beverages.
Hello everyone. Firstly, thanks for having me here. The inspiration behind the name GOAT is we wanted to do something to lead the industry and not just to serve some section of the society. And obviously it is coming out from Goa. So we took the Goa GOA and it has to be the greatest. So we made it Goa GOAT GOAT greatest of all time.
Fantastic.
So that's the thing, and the vision we have from our brand, that is, we have seen when actually I'm an engineer. When I was studying, me and my friends, we saw a consumer shift happening in the market. Like you see this shift happening like once in a decade, like from, you can say, from cable TVs it shifted to Netflix and all. Like from soaps it shifted to hand washes and all. So we saw this shift. Like many people were shifting towards ready to drink stuff. Okay, so we wanted to take this opportunity, and we wanted to take it with Feni only. And the thing with Feni is that what I feel is that Feni is one such alcohol which can blend both with refreshing as well as fruity flavors. So, so maybe I feel that Feni can take a huge slice from the cocktail industry, and then we can go ahead to make Goat one of the best drinks to have in India in the ready to
Fantastic.
drink segment.
Absolutely. This is again, like you said, opening it up to new palettes again and making it accessible, which is the most important. So if you have to have like a cocktail, you would have to go to a bar. But what if you want to stay indoors and still enjoy a hassle-free cocktail that tastes great and is made out of a spirit that you want, say like good beverages? Really, congratulations on finding this beautiful gap in the market, and I wish you all the success. Anyway, I wanted to also sort of ask you, what are the kind of flavors that you have going at Goat in your RTD range, and what was the sort of thought process behind selecting these flavors? Was it targeted towards a particular age segment or a particular market set? Uh, please shed some
Yeah.
more light on that.
First, I will tell you the flavors which we have. So we have launched three flavors like green apple mojitos, cranberry limes, and lemon squeeze, which is very similar to the Orak drink which we have. The reason behind me choosing these flavors was many people in India love lemonades and mojitos, but they don't know what Feni is or they haven't tried Feni. So the idea was to get people tasting Feni through lemonades and mojitos. So we thought of this, and what was the next question?
Was the selection of flavors, was it targeted towards
Yes.
a certain segment
Uh,
of the market?
Yes, it was targeted in a certain segment, because what I feel is that every big brand does is that they try to sell to a particular audience, because if you try to sell everyone, you will end up you won't sell anyone. Okay, so yes, this is mostly targeted towards the young generation, because I want people to try this, and it turned out amazing, because in most of the premium liquor stores in Goa, like we have just launched it 4 5 months back, but in most of the premium liquor stores in Goa, we have beaten gin premix, rum premix, and it turned out to be really great.
It's a fantastic endeavor. So happy. Thank you so much for shedding light on the RTD segment as well. Just to sort of conclude on the session, I'd like to say that no matter how many times you hear this, and as corny as it sounds, this truly is India's decade, and we really hope that Feni will be representing India on the global spirit map. And also from, it's been like amazingly clear that everyone, all stakeholders in the Feni industry are pushing towards premiumization, because we want to make sure that every single person in the entire supply chain, down from the distillers to the wholesalers to the distributors to even every single person, makes more money. And specifically speaking, the spirit is so unique, so rare, and so seasonal. It also is a labor of love. to continue to sell it at a price point that is sort of only at the lower end, sort of reduces all the effort that our cars take in the state. So premiumization has been due for a very, very long time, and I'm just happy to see that so many entrepreneurs are getting into Feni and sort of taking the spirit forward. With that, I would like to ask anyone in the audience if they have any questions for any of us on the panel. We'd be happy to take them up. Yes, we can start with you, ma'am. Would it be possible to pass on a mic to the lady, please?
Hi, my question is to Aisha. So everyone seems to have fallen on the tropical, fruity flavors, infuse everything, you know. But which is easy when you're going to a bar, which is easy when you're depending on someone else to make your drink. What you have done is amazing, that you've brought it inside a house. You just put it on ice and drink it. You don't need a juice, you don't need a flavor, you don't need someone else to bring it. So was it just your personal love for whiskey, or were you thinking of something else while doing this?
So that's exactly right the way you're describing it. Thank you. It is, I think it came from the idea of, if this is what's done to whiskey, and if this is how, when whiskey is first distilled before it's aged, it's not very palatable. It's a completely different liquor. Once it is distilled, it gets everything that we love about whiskey. And I think in the past, there have also been aged gins, I think Greater Than just did an aged gin recently. So why not do that for any other liquor and see what it can be? Because it's kind of an unknown territory. And that's something beautiful, I think, where you can say, you know what, we're going to try this and see what happens. Right now, we've aged it for a year, for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It might be something even more amazing. And I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I mean, there are people out there looking for an easier drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like a water, soda. Like, you don't want to fuss over something.
Yeah. And
So
that's
this
actually, that's how we recommend. I drink it on the rocks, but we recommend drinking it either with a dash of soda, similar to how you would drink whiskey, with a bit of ginger ale if you want a little bit of sweetness, but still easy, kind of one and
I
done
will come
drink.
by your stall and taste.
Yes. We'll see you there. Thank you.
Fantastic. Would there be anybody else with a question? Yes.
I have 3 questions. So my first question is, with that Orak is gonna get a GI tag, will it bring challenges to Feni? My second question is, how does the government help in the Feni industry, and do you think there is a need for reforms?
Which any of you guys would like to take that, or
Yeah, see, Orak getting a GI tag will still keep Orak very, very seasonal. Yeah, March, April, May, 3 months of Orak. But I don't think that affects Feni sales, Feni so much, because we've seen after you've had enough Orak, when you go home and you don't have it, you'll move back to Feni, I think.
absolutely,
You know,
because it's
there's
available
like
year-round.
so I think they're both complementing each other, both these drinks, because once it gets a GI tag, what will happen is it'll open up a new market for like, now people know Feni, and only tourists who come to Goa now are jumping on the craze or the bandwagon of Orak. Once it's a serious GI tag on it, then more people will understand it, more people will try it, and then the shift to Feni will happen eventually after the months are over. So from June onwards, they will have to drink Feni till the next batch of Orak comes out.
Absolutely. Stole the words out of my mouth there. That's perfect. You had another question, if I'm not wrong. The second one, could you please repeat that for us, please?
How do government initiatives help in Feni, and do you think there is a need for reform?
Okay. Kalal, would you like to take that one?
So, in terms of government initiatives, I think primarily right now what's being done for the and this is spoken of in all our discussions, right? What is being done in terms of the Cashew Fest is sort of the starting ground, right? There can only be a reform when there's enough of support. There can only be support when there's enough of exposure. And until all of this comes together, there is there is going to be no change, no reform. So right now, in my opinion, the Cashew Fest is the starting point. There's everything that's being done on the grassroots level. Obviously, people have issues with the dwindling cashew crop. We're subject to natural sort of calamities or
Global
natural,
warming.
situations. But the support of the government in actually establishing this festival, doing it again for the second year, getting more people on board. It's such a niche event, such a niche festival. Generally, you come to a festival for food and drink and for party or whatever, but here everything is focused around the cashew. The awareness that's created over here is what is going to give the government confidence, and it is what is going to give them the necessity and the ability to support every level of stakeholder in the fruit or in the crop. That's where it is for me. That's I think what will drive the reform as well.
100%. I think Cashew Fest has been almost a stepstone in the promotion of Feni and allied cashew industries, because it really is putting a spotlight on this sort of humble local fruit that has been trapped in the boundaries of Goa for so long. But we often always hear of a gin festival or a whiskey festival, or for that matter, even a coffee festival. But for something like this to be organized on such a grand scale, it's truly amazing. I would really like to thank Honorable Devya ma'am, and I would also like to say thanks to Goa Forest Development Corporation for putting together a wonderful event like this and giving us a platform to sort of showcase the craft. So thank you again. Yes, sir.
म्हणजे नाव प्रकाश वेळीप
Namaskar, sir.
हांव आदर्श कृषी सहकारी सोसायटीचो चॅरमॅन, a cooperative society having 32,000 farmers members. Out of these 32,000, 16,000 are cashew growers, and out of 60,000, 3,600 organic farmers. Now my question is, lot of heard, if we think to purchase the Feni from the farmers, whether that much market is available? One question. And if can this organic Feni is be treated in Goa? 3,500 we have got organic certified farmers. त्यांचे कडच्यान जर आमी जी फेणी घेतली जाल्यार ताका मार्केट आसपाक शकता. वी हॅव नॉट परचेस फेणी बिकॉज इफ वी गिव द कॉल, trucks of Feni will come, because there is huge this connectivity.
Right.
So we have to market. I give this suggestion. I'm from the politics also. I was ex-minister. I gave the proposal. Then the Chief Minister, Mr. Manoj Parrikar, why can't you introduce to military? He was a defense minister. He took that light. Then even this present minister, Mr. Dr. Pramod Samant, I said, why there should be a restriction to go to take out the Feni out of the Goa? There is a market out of the Goa, I think.
There is a huge potential, sir, to answer your question.
Today, these farmers converting the Feni is not happy because lot of Feni is at their home only. So there should be support the farmer.
Absolutely.
This is another value addition. Today morning we heard, yesterday we heard, farmer is crying. Rate are very down. They want support from the government. The support from the this one to make that value addition. I think value addition, this apple juice and this converting Orak and Feni is, in my opinion, is very much required, and that production as well as demand and supply also should be there.
Absolutely.
So just highlight it.
Yes. So to answer your question, yes, there has been years of sort of bad reputation which has sort of held Feni back, like we discussed. So it will take a little bit of time while things change, or to undo a certain, to undo the bad reputation. But however, as you sort of experienced, not only us, the entire of the Feni industry is pushing towards premiumization. And as we sort of push in towards premiumization and are making more money at the selling end, at the procurement end for several brands like that, they will be able to sort of support the farmer a lot better when the market is sort of fully developed enough. So like you said, it is about time that we link the producers and the marketers together. And I think the government, the Department of Forest, all of these can be an integral link where they help connect or sort of create a database and help connect those who wish to market Feni better and take it to a global stage and increase the market size for it, and those who are producing it at a grassroots level. So these things will definitely change. All we request is a little bit of time, and like I said, Feni is a bright shining star. I don't think anything can stop it, which is why we go by the tagline at Goichi Feni Konak Bhina. Current आणि फेणीन स्वतःचा तर that's how it's going to be. It is going to grow, and we will be there to support each and every one of our farmer brothers for sure. Yes, sir.
Actually, this is linked to his suggestion also, that more important than GI tag is the country liquor thing.
Absolutely.
Because of that, it cannot be exported out.
Absolutely.
The moment we go for upgrading the brand and branding it and things like that, it will automatically will be exported out. And once it is exported out, like sake,
Yes.
shochu, it's a tharra only.
Absolutely.
For example, mahua. Maharashtra government has taken a lead on that. Now mahua can be
Exported to other
exported
states.
out and sold.
Absolutely.
So the same thing will happen here also. I think more than GI for both Orak as well as this thing, and that's where your farmers will get much more. The market is huge.
Absolutely so. Perfectly so. There is a sort of shift in mindset of even distillers, because we want to explore new markets as well and sort of make sure that all people all around the world, not only in this country, are able to taste what a stellar spirit this is. So it is my request to urge maybe perhaps the excise department to sort of create a new category that is between Indian made foreign liquor and between country liquor. So something like an Indian made liquor, like an IML, would be something that would give them a slightly higher tax bracket, so more revenues for the department and the government as well, but not nearly like as high as imported or IMFL brands, so that we can still continue to support our farmers. And this can be sort of based on like slab pricing based on how much the MRP of the product is. So this way the duty structure can be varied out. We are at the moment also lobbying for speaking to the excise about things like that. All of us together have put in a word with the department, and things are moving. Things will be changing very soon. Yes,
नमस्कार. पहिले म्हळ्यार तुमकां सगळ्यांक थँक्यू हे सेशन तुमी लिकराचेर दवरला म्हणून. आमचे जाणटेले हे लिकर गोंयचे फेणी गोंयचे राणी म्हणटाले,
सारकें.
आनी हे गोंयचे फेणी गोंयचे राणी कित्याक तर ह्या फेणयेक खरोच आमचें शरीर राखपाचें तितूंक हें आसता, पूण तें काडप जर सारकें जालें जायत जाल्यारूच आसता. तें काडप आसता पळय न्ही, ताजे जर प्रोसेस सारको जालो जाल्यारूच तो फेणयेचो इम्पॉर्टंट येता. जी आमी 24 ग्रेड फेणी म्हणटात,
24 ग्राम,
आनी ती प्युअर आसूंक जाय, तितूंत कांयच मिक्सुरात आसूंक जायना. हे मिक्सुरात जर काडले जाल्यार आमचे जाणटेले पयलीं आमकां इल्लोसो कुल्यार भर सुद्दां दिली जायत न्ही, आमी आमचे थंडी बिंडी जी आसा ती वताली. आनी आजुनूय आमचे जाणटेले आमी तो प्रयोग करतात घरांक कंटिन्युअस न्ही, पूण फेणयेक फाटीं आमी आमच्या सावथाक म्हणजे आमच्या धारबांदोडा एरियेक हे सगळे एग्रीकल्चर लोक सगळे काजूचे प्रत्येकाच्या घरान काजूचे हें आसता, आनी प्रत्येकाचे रूट लेवल तेंच आशिल्लें. आतां मातशे चेंजीस जाल्या. सो ह्या खातीर ही जी काजू फेणी आसा ती काजू फेणी 1 मिनिट सॉरी
सुशेगाद, नो प्रॉब्लेम.
हॅलो 1 मिनिट. ही काजू फेणी जी आसा फाटीं कोवीड इन्सिडंट जाले, आनी कोवीड इन्सिडंटाक ही काजू फेणी खूब लोकांक बऱ्याक पडली. कित्याक ही काजू फेणी जी आसा ती हांगा जर तुका कितें जालें न्ही जाल्यार ती सगळी ताजो भ्रम काडटा आनी ते देंवयता. कोवीड म्हणल्यार कांय नाशिल्ली, एक थंडी आशिल्ली ती, आनी ती थंडी ताणें बरी जाताले. हे काजू फेणयेक जायते तरेचे वखद घालून ती काडूं येता.
जिरा म्हणा, आले म्हणा, गंजन म्हणा,
खूब तरेचे वखद आसतात
सारकें,
आनी ती कॅन्सराक सुद्दां बऱ्याक पडटात. तुजे जे थंडी आसा जावं भितर कितें
जोर आयला,
पुलमाक थंडी भरल्या जावं कित्याक थंडी भरल्या जाल्यार ती काजू फेणी जर ते पद्दतीन काडली जायत जाल्यार ती सगळी एवॉयड जावपाक शकता. आनी हे प्रयोग आमचे ते ह्या सायडीच्यान लोक करतात. आनी आजुनूय लोक दोतोरागेर वचनात. आजुनूय जाणटे लोक जे आसा ही काजू फेणी घेवन जवळ जवळ 100 वर्सां क्रॉस आजुनूय लोक ही काजू फेणी घेतात. ती लिमिटेड म्हणजे ताका एक हें आसा घेवपाचें, आनी तांचो तो शरिराचो एक भाग जाल्लो आसा. हें सो हो जर तुमी काडपाचेर जर
स्ट्रिंजन्सी दवरला, कन्सिस्टन्सी दवरपा जाय.
काजू फेणी काडप आणि तेजी प्युरिटी कशी राखून दवरप हे जर तुम्ही जर केली जायत न्ही काजू फेणेक खूप तेजी येतली आणि ते तेजे तुमचे जे हाय नॅशनल हेजेर हें आसा अमेरिकेक सुद्दां आमचो काजू फेणी गेल्लेलो अमेरिकेन लोकांनी सुद्दां आमकां तुमची फेणी जी आसा ती परत आमकां दियात हो आमकां दियात अशें म्हणून सांगिल्लें आसा कित्याक आमचे काजू फेणी आमी काडटात ते हेडीच्यान आमचो अमेरिकेक सुद्दां लोकांनी पिल्लो आसा आनी थंयसरल्यान सुद्दां आमकां हें येयल्लें आसा की आमकां परत धाडून दियात.
सारकें. नाही, आमचो सोरो सगळ्यात बरो ते
इतलो
सगळ्यांक
ताका
खबर
पावर
आसा.
आसा हाका जर गव्हर्मेंटान जर ह्या हाजेर जर हे काही जे रुल्स जे आसा ते काडून जर केले जायत आमचे हांगसर कितलेशेच लोक हाजेर स्वावलंबी जातले
सारकें.
आमचे ते हेडीच्यान.
तुम्ही जे सांगतात ते ॲब्सोल्युटली परफेक्ट आसा.
हय.
जे तुम्ही जशें म्हणटात की स्टँडर्डायझेशन जावपा जाय
जावपाक
इन
जाय.
इन डिस्टिलेशन प्रोसेस.
थँक्यू फॉर
जे तुम्ही म्हणटाले की डिस्टिलेशन प्रोसेस सामकी स्ट्रीमलायन जावपा जाय, सगळ्यांत सारको ती प्युअर तशीच काडपा जाय जशें आमच्या जाणटेल्यान आमकां शिकयलां तशें. ताका लागूनच गव्हर्मेंटान GI नॉर्म्स काडिल्ले आसात की तांब्याच्या भाणात तुम्ही करपा जाय, तांब्याचे कुलिंग कॉयल्स तुम्ही वापरपा जायत, काजूचो रस मुट्टे अशे धापपा जायत, काजूचो रस असो ओतपा जाय, आनी स्टँडर्डायज प्रोसेस SOP केल्ले आसात. सारकें. सारकें. जितले फास्ट हीट जाता तितले फास्ट कूल जावपा जाय, तितलो सोरो बरो. सारकें. तर हे सगळे जे गोश्टी आसात ते गव्हर्मेंटान ऑलरेडी इन देर 2021 फेनी पॉलिसी लिस्ट करून दवरलेले आसा. आतां तेजे दोन फार्मरान ते एक तर करपा जाय, पण ताचे खातीर तांकां कितें डिफिकल्टी पडटा, तांबो हे म्हारग पडटा तांकां, म्हणून काही लोक बॅरेलां काडटात, काही लोक एल्युमिनमाचे पायप वापरतात. कारण हे सगळे केल्या उपरांत तांकां मार्केटान बरो दाम मेळना, बरो प्रायस मेळना. सो तो एक सगळ्यात व्हडलो प्रॉब्लेम आसा. जर आमी प्रिमियमायझेशनाक पयले डिमांड क्रिएट केली न्ही, ताज्या नंतर सगळे लोक सारकीच काडपाक सुरू करतले, कारण तांकां खबर आसा की तांच्या कश्टांक मागीर वॅल्यू आसा ती. सो इट नीड्स टू बी टॅकल्ड फ्रॉम द डिमांड एंड. हे आनी पॉलिसी आसा ऑलरेडी, इट हॅज बीन एस्टॅब्लिश की अशी काडपा जाय म्हणून फेणी, आनी स्ट्रिंजन्सी सुद्दां आमचे एक्सायज डिपार्टमेंट दवरपा शकता. पण आमच्या लोकल फार्मर्सांक सपोर्ट जाय पडटलो. ताका लागून आमी ऑलरेडी उलयल्यात भरपूर अशें की जे काही स्किम्स पॉलिसीज आणि सबसिडीज आसात जे गव्हर्मेंटल बॉडीज लायक ॲग्रिकल्चरल डिपार्टमेंट आणि फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट बी प्रोवायड करू शकतात, ज्याच्यान हे स्ट्रीमलायनींग ऑफ दीस प्रोसेस मातशी बेगीन जातली. पण जातली हे नक्की, कारण जेन्ना प्रिमियमायझेशनची लहर येतली त्याच्या नंतर सगळ्यांक बरो दाम मेळटलो आणि दे विल बी इन्सेंटिवायज टू डू द गुड थिंग एनीवे.
Excuse me, sir. I just want to add one thing. तुम्ही जे सांगले पळय गव्हर्मेंट शूड रेग्युलेट इन ऑल, that's a really nice thing. Government should do that and government is doing that. But the thing which sometimes we face is that when we were developing our products, we took Feni samples from 3 places, okay? We took and we tested it. 2 of them had added ENA in it, okay? So government will do from that side, but तुम्ही बी पळोवपाक जाय तुमच्या भितर कोण आसा ते. तुमकां खबर आसा की थोड्या एरियान फेनीचो डिमांड खूब आसता आनी ते मागीर फेणी तेंचे कडेन कमी आसता, दे एड ENA, दे एड स्टफ एंड दे ट्राय टू सेल इट. सो हे तुमी बी पळोवपाक जाय की तुमच्या भितर तुमकां खबर आसा कोण आसा. यू शूड ऑल्सो नोट इट डावन की आमकां बी मागीर बरो क्वॉलिटीचो गावलो जाल्यार वी कॅन ऑल्सो टेक इट हेड.
कारण काही अनस्क्रुपलस प्रॅक्टिसिसामुळे न्ही अख्ख्या इंडस्ट्रीक मातशें वायट नांव मेळटा, आनी हे जर जाल्यामुळे इतले वर्स हेच चलत आयला, ताका लागून फेणीक एक मातसो नेगेटीव कॉनोटेशन आयिल्लो आशिल्लो की ही कशी बनयला आमकां खबर ना, त्याच्यात मिलावट बी आसूं शकता अशें. ते परफेक्ट उलयता तुमी, परफेक्ट. सो द GI नॉर्म्स विल बी इम्प्लिमेंटेड व्हेरी सून.
येस मिक्सिंग आसपाक जायना तेत. इफ सपोज आमकां बरी क्वॉलिटीची गावली देन विथीन फ्यू इयर्स आय कॅन टेल सर दॅट एक दीस असो दीस येतलो देन वी वील कॉल फॉर फेनी एंड यू वील फॉल शॉर्ट ऑफ फेनी.
So just one small thing to add to what both of them had said. I'll respond in English. Is there's one thing about the production, right? We're talking about standardizing the production. We're talking about making sure that everyone gets their due, etc.
Absolutely.
But I think there's one part about production there's another part about the consumer, the demand. And I think when the level of demand meets a certain standard, that is when everyone will make sure that there is no adulteration, that standard is maintained in every product that comes out.
Absolutely.
Right? And that is only achieved through, unfortunately for us, education.
Oh, okay.
I would like to say education is
Mm.
educate people about the spirit, educate people about its value, educate people about its medicinal properties. You know, it's a phenomenal thing when you talk about alcohol, which lots of people will look down upon, and then you say it has medicinal properties genuinely, which people have been using for centuries. That education will build a whole different notion, which then at the end of the day will come back to
Absolutely.
answering his point.
Myself is Pradeep.
That's another exploration.
So yeah, I mean, traditionally speaking, जे सोरो आसा पहिले फार्मास्युटिकल बेस नाशिल्ले, सो जे पण नॅचरली डिरायव्ड केमिकल्स आशिल्ले तांकां जर त्यांची पोटेन्सी वाडोवन तांकां शेल्फ लायफ वाडोवपाचो अल्कोहॉल बेस आसतालो पहिले, आनी हांगासर फक्त फेणी काडटाले. सो पयली माडाची फेणी आशिल्ली ओनली बिफोर द पोर्चुगीज ब्रॉट द कॅशू, दॅट वॉज दी ओनली बेस दॅट हॅज बीन यूज्ड फॉर मेडिसिनल प्रॉपर्टीज. पण आतां फार्मास्युटिकल बेस आयला, सो पीपल हॅव, बिकॉज इट्स इजियर टू डू, इट्स लेस वॉल्युमिनस, टॅबलेटांक करपाक मेळटा, सो यू कॅन बेसिकली use medicines for medicines. And even in terms of marketing, as alcohol brands, it's a little hard for us to push alcohol with health benefits sort of associated with it, because the central government, of course, makes us, even if you go to watch a movie, they'll make you write madira pan sehat ke liye hanikarak hai and things like that. So to sort of promote medicinal properties with Feni right off the bat might not be the right time as of now. We should rather focus on the premiumization. This is my personal opinion then again. Absolutely, that is a great one. That is something that our scientists need to explore, and it'd be amazing. Absolutely, yes, please.
Myself, Pradeep Savardekar. I'll be talking little about the data. Actually, if you see, in Goa is known for a tourist destination. There are almost 8 to 10 lakhs people come to Goa. So if you go to Kashmir, you obviously buy kesar. If you go to any part of the world, you'll take as a souvenir something from that part. So we have a target monthly of 10 lakhs people coming to Goa just for a holiday. Even if 1% today market share of the Feni, I think it's not even more than 2 or 3% compared to IMFL or Indian foreign brand, whatever. So to increase the brand, so increase the market share, we need to have more marketing efforts. So I personally feel there are a lot of youngsters sitting here. There is a great opportunity like Anant, but I will rather say, rather than having a bar mix of other drinks, if they open Feni Tavern, exclusively Feni serving, and along with the Feni, I've seen a lot of restaurants are serving different kinds of foods. People come to Goa to have fish, or they want to have a local food. So if a Feni Tavern comes with a small, like youngsters, they start a tavern, Feni Tavern, with Goan food, I'm sure the demand will automatically be created, and that will benefit all the Feni manufacturers and help them. So I appeal all the youngsters to take initiative to start Feni Tavern. Thank you.
Yeah, you raised a very, very great point. And the thing is, it's nice to say that, you know, there are a lot of youngsters, I'm sure they want to start a Feni Tavern and a lot of things. Even I'm looking to open some more spaces. But what happens is the bureaucracy at this point, at the lower level, from the panchayats to wherever, to just procure permissions takes forever. We can have lots of conversations around, we should do that, we should do that, we should do that. There are these small hindrances which don't let you do it. People from Goa itself, our locals itself, are stopping us from doing something better. This is what is happening, and this is frustrating for a lot of us actually. I don't think anybody is talking about it openly, but I think we should make it part of our conversations, that how certain bodies are restricting Goan entrepreneurs from doing something better and bigger.
Yes, we have another question from the gentleman there.
Yeah, hi. My name is Anish. It's a great session. Amazing work you guys are doing. I actually have one suggestion and one question. So, if you look at Feni, the spirit, we have all the stakeholders that are here: farmers, producers, distillers, marketers. But one major stakeholder that's not here is the retailer.
Yeah.
So I think it would be great if we have some retailer or somebody from the retail coming up and talking along with you guys. There's one gap I find is when Aisha says there are not many Fenis on the menus of restaurants and bars.
Yes.
When we visit any wine store from Nooks and Corner, there are unlimited Feni products available with any random name, every shape of bottle, every color bottle, coming from the same places that makes good Feni, bad Feni, whatever. So is this, and we have a lot of more than 10 lakh tourists coming in and things like that. So is this gap, or is this what is this whole thing of Feni not being mentioned in the restaurants but available in retail stores at from 100 rupees to 1,600 rupees? So is this a gap, or how do you look at this whole situation?
Would you like to take that, Aisha?
Yeah. So I think this comes back to what we've all been saying of Feni having this reputation of being something that tourists come and buy, which is great. But what we want to do is expand that to something you have at restaurants. And I think that has to happen at every level. On one level, it is the premiumization, it is the quality of the product. And I think on the next level, it is also from bars and restaurants to feel to open up their doors also and become more comfortable and understand that the product is changing and it's evolving over time, and there is a space for it. Like you said, it's exactly a gap in the market, which I think once we make it available to people and make sure that people and customers in restaurants understand that it is something that is available to them, then only do they know that they can also order it. So I think it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation where everything has to happen at the same time and come together. But hopefully that's what we're all doing, is working towards that.
Very
right
soon,
now.
Aisha. Fingers crossed. We can only hope that it's sooner the better. Would there be any other questions from the audience? Yes. We'll make sure that unfortunately we're a little low on time, so this will unfortunately have to be the very last one.
Right.
So please proceed.
Thank you. My name is Daryl Sequeira. And of course, in order to make your drink of Feni, you need cashew juice. So no one seems to have spoken about the source of the juice in order to all the flamboyant developments to the international level. But the fact is that the land allocated for the growth of cashew trees is what they call orchard land in Goa. And this is sort of looked upon as a non-agricultural land because it's on slopes and so on for soil erosion control and whatever. That was the Portuguese idea, I guess.
Yes.
And now what happens is that those who are tenants or owners of this orchard land prefer to sell it for construction. So one question that arises is that to what extent can the use of the land for Feni production or for cashew juice production compete with all the other interests in converting the land to construction land, or what you call residential land or whatever, you know. And that's a very serious impediment, because on the one hand, we want to increase the amount of juice available, but we cannot do it by cutting down the cashew trees.
Absolutely.
Even a politician should understand that.
Absolutely.
So this is the big question.
Would anybody from the audience like to take that? Is it all right if I sort of proceed? Yes. So, like, you're absolutely right about this. Global warming is not making life any easier as well. What you did say that, yes, we have had a severe decline in cashew production over the years. And there is a call upon all of us, all stakeholders in the industry, to sort of increase the productivity of the land under the cashew. So there's two ways to look at that. You can either increase the amount of forest land, which I'm pretty sure the forest department is working very actively on, to increase or maintain a certain amount of land under forests. And the other way is to increase productivity of the existing cashew lands. That means taking care of the trees, planting varieties that produce higher outputs, planting varieties that are resistant to heat, because that's been one of the major challenges, because our flowers are getting burnt. So research and development in that sort of sector, where hybrid trees, I'm not saying genetically modified necessarily, but selectively bred hybrid trees needs to be implemented so that we can increase productivity on already existing lands. As we know that development is unfortunately inevitable, that's the curse of civilization. But of course, we have to build policies around making sure that it doesn't creep into our land under forests. So that's another thing to do. Apart from that, reforestation is something that's absolutely important. So if you actually look at most of the small holding farmers, these cashews were planted by perhaps their grandfathers. The modern generation has not taken to cashew farming as much because it's not lucrative enough and it seems like a lot of effort. So this problem again can be targeted by, say, marketing and creating the demand at first, because we currently have lower demand than supply. As you said, a lot of farmers are actually sitting on a lot of stock. And the other problem is a labor problem in Goa as well, which is you'd be actually surprised to find out that a lot of cashew in Goa is essentially going waste because it has a very low shelf life. Before, it used to be sort of joint family, so there was a lot of familial labor available, a lot of hands within the family to sort of go, source the cashews from the orchard, bring them back home. But with a declining trend in opportunities in India, or sort of seeing that as a limit, a lot of our younger generation has sort of moved abroad. And that has sort of led to families shrinking to a smaller size, making life harder for small unit farmers. So essentially speaking, Goa is a very small state anyway in terms of land expanse. So we always have to understand that it's not going to be like increasing dramatically the amount of forest for only for cashew is not perhaps the best way to do, because monoculture has been proven to not be the only way forward. So of course, a great focus on cashew to prevent soil erosion because we do have torrential rains, but most importantly, I think this problem can be tackled by increasing productivity under already existing cashew trees, and that can only be achieved through what I believe financial incentive by creating demand. So this is something that we are working on as marketers of Feni, and eventually we'll be able to bridge the gap hopefully very soon, where our farmer brothers are able to sort of liquidate whatever sort of backlog stock they have. And should the demand surge beyond that, and once it's opened up to newer markets, we'd definitely be looking to increase cashew production as well.
You have messed up one monkey, the main fellow spoiling the crop. That no one is talking about.
No, it is. Vermin is sort of another problem that a lot of smallhold farmers deal with as well. But if you look at the typical pattern of the monkeys will typically bite the fruit off and throw it onto the floor. And that really... But the nut is still available to... fruit. Yeah, okay, bornacho later. Okay. That is something that we will need additional. I'm not the right person to unfortunately be able to answer that question. So maybe, just like based off the 10th standard EVS that I studied, because I'm not the right person to answer this question, but say for example, we could have a cleared out zone, like a moat area around cashew hills, so that when there is in like forest reserves, there is a sort of perimeter area. So when the animal goes from the core zone to the periphery zone, yes, absolutely. Yes, that I would hand the dice to the agricultural department to sort of address these issues with you, because I think they would be the more like accurate party to sort of answer a question like this. So maybe the agricultural department and the forestry department. Mm. Mm-hmm. No, vermin is, you're absolutely right about this. Like a lot of animals like straying out. This again has got to do with area reducing under the forest. So if the natural habitat is taken away from animals, they will come onto farms. Absolutely, with gentleness, with kindness, because we need to take care of our animal, compatriots as well. But yeah, that's something that the forest department will be able to help you a lot better. In this concern should, I would say, be raised to sort of them so that they can help you out with this. No, thank you, really. Thank you for bringing this up. Absolutely. This, thank you very much, sir, because this is a great platform for everyone to sort of bring their questions up to the respective departments and stakeholders. Thank you very much for it. And I think our team at the forest department has sort of taken note of this, and they'll be addressing this issue with you maybe right outside after the session is ended. Thank you so much. Our absolute pleasure. So to conclude, thank you everyone for having every one of us and paying such a patient ear to our talks. I would now like Pranav sir to take the stage from me. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Actually, most of us were knowing about Dukshiri Feni. Now we all know that Feni is available in many more flavors. It was an honor to have you all on the panel. We extend our sincere gratitude to all the speakers for making this session a great success. I request our General Manager, sir, to present a memento to our speakers as a token of appreciation. So, please, yes, our Decker, sir, please. I request General Manager, sir, to present a memento to Aisha Singhi, madam. Thank you, madam. I request our General Manager, sir, to present memento to Raj Divkar. I request our manager, Updesh Kosambe sir, to present a memento to Carlyle Gomes, sir. I request our manager sir to please present a memento to Anand Shirodkar sir. Thank you all. We hope you gain valuable information, knowledge during this session. And we look forward to see you again at our future events. Thank you once again. Thank you all.